Hark and well met, members of the Rune Platoon, and welcome to a special Monday midday brunch stream. If you're watching on YouTube right now, feel free to hit that subscribe button down at the bottom of the screen. I think it comes up like right here. It really helps me a whole lot, and not a whole lot of people who watch my videos are subscribed to the channel. So feel free to subscribe and check out cool new content like this, and gaming, and all sorts of archaeology stuff. Yeah. We're going to be watching these historic house tour videos and eating brunch. That's my game plan, anyway. I'm having cereal for breakfast today. It is dulce de leche toast crunch, which is cinnamon toast crunch, but it's dulce de leche flavored. And let me just say, this is an incredibly S-tier cereal. I have no idea what business it has existing and being this good, but I'm here for it. Alright, so the first one that we're looking at is a Lynchburg, Virginia historic home. I don't know very much about these properties. I just kind of basically YouTubed, hey, let's look at historic house tours and see which ones popped up. Some of them are very obviously older. And other ones like this, they look like they're a little bit on the newer side, but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. So let's take a look and see what it's got.
Hey there, this is Victoria Bartholomew. I'm a real estate agent in Lynchburg, Virginia, specializing in historic properties. Today we're here at 4411 Boonesboro Road. Just happens to be my mother's house, so I know a lot about it.
She's showing off her mom's house? Okay. I mean, I get it. If she's an expert in the field, I guess she wouldn't be any more of an expert had she not grown up in a historic house.
This house is built with a Vermont slate 3-color roof, so that's very unusual around here for sure. It will outlive us all. It's like the greatest thing about a slate roof.
That's so true. Historic homes, there's a reason why so many of them are still standing. It's because the materials and the construction were hardy. So yeah, like a slate roof and a lot of these really stone building foundations, there's a reason why there's still houses that are 200 years old standing. And it's because they were built like tanks. Oh, okay, they're not doing any cuts.
And this is an original terracotta tile floor, which is traditionally done in 1920s style houses. It's really awesome on the feet in summer.
That is true. Terracotta is super cool.
I love this.
In the Mediterranean, especially in archaeology, terracotta roofs are big, and terracotta just in general is used in a lot of very warm climates, because it's super it keeps things cool. It's a great building material for stuff like that. You don't see it as much nowadays.
This front door makes me super happy. Something you never see anymore is how ridiculously thick this front door is. I cannot even imagine what it would cost to build now.
That is a thick door.
The best part about this house, I genuinely think, is this is all mahogany woodwork inside the house. Mahogany.
Rich mahogany.
A lot of pine and a lot of oak.
Yo, I love that little nook. That little sitting nook. That's awesome. Me gusta.
So this is fairly unusual, and it's actually a 2-sided fireplace, which we see a lot in new construction now. But in older construction, we don't generally see an interior fireplace and an outside one. That's really unusual. That's also wood burning.
She's right. That is super unusual. That's super unusual because, in antiquity, right, they didn't have as many ways of insulating a house. So if you had a fireplace that opened to the interior and the exterior, that was just a way for cold to get in or out. It was a way for it to get cold in the winter and hot in the summer. So yeah, the fact that that's a double-sided, it looks like, yeah, that's like a back porch out there. That's insane. That's super cool. Modern, as she's saying, yeah, that would be really dope.
They have what we call fern glass on them, so it's a style of textured glass that is original to the house, that is to create some privacy between the two spaces. So you can see people are in there, but you can't really see what they're up to.
One thing I love about old homes that you don't really see as much nowadays. Nowadays, everybody really wants open floor plans, right? They want to see big open rooms. Like this entire first floor would just be one giant room going from the living room to the dining room to the kitchen to the et cetera, et cetera. I love that old houses kind of separate. And I know Brichella is a big fan of French doors, like what these are. Yeah, but I like rooms. I like having rooms for different activities. I don't like having just a giant space.
Coming into our dining room. One thing I am just like a sucker for completely are casement windows. So casement windows are windows that open out. They don't open up. These being elevated allowed for a buffet in here, which is traditionally what would have been in this room to begin with anyways. And it allows airflow when you have French doors on either side.
Natural light and natural air circulation are incredibly important in historic homes for exactly the reasons that she mentioned. People didn't really have those things. So you had to do it au natural.
And you can still get that awesome breeze throughout the house. So
I like that chandelier in the middle. It has like this kind of weird plant-looking thing across the top of it. I don't know what that's. Yeah, it's meant to mimic like some kind of outdoor lantern type thing. I think it's cool.
This guy is kind of a point of interest to me. So it is actually not an original light fixture to this house, but it's still a historic light fixture. So I think it's kind of important to point those things out. It is beautiful. It actually came out of a library in the Midwest, and it is older than this house, but it still looks really, really well appointed in here. So I wanted to point it out. Having the original butler's pantry.
That's a beautiful piece.
Such an amazing, amazing feature. To have custom cabinetry built of this kind of quality wood is almost impossible.
Yeah, that's a really nice.
Original hardware on it as well. So this is made of pine.
Yeah, when you're looking at like built-ins and stuff like that, even on modern properties, if they have a built-in like that, that's huge. It is huge for the value.
You can see that there are locks on here, so that if they didn't want something used or they wanted to keep something away from their servants, they could also lock it up in there and it wouldn't be a problem. This is, again, you can look.
Keep it away from the servants, as if they're implying that the servants aren't the only ones in the house who handle any of the cutlery or china or anything. Just these rich people, like, oh, I gotta make sure they don't steal my valuable china that only they deal with because they're the ones who serve me the food on it.
And you also see these kind of clasps down here, of which we don't usually see in modern day cabinets.
Yeah, I mean, she's talking about the one that has like the little turn knob to open the door. I feel like she's right. You don't really see them that much anymore because they're a little bit like clunky and disorganized. But I've seen places put them in as like a design choice. But yeah, they are definitely evident of a very older cabinet. You know, if you see stuff like that and it looks like it's old, chances are that's a historic fastener or lock or whatever.
One thing I also wanted to point out in here that you've seen in a lot of the other rooms is this molding at the very top of the wall.
Yeah, show me that crown molding.
About why in the world is the crown molding sitting a couple inches off of the ceiling? Well, that's because that is not crown molding. That is picture molding. So all these walls are plaster originally. Plaster is a very delicate material. So when you go and you knock a hole into it, you might break off a bunch of pieces. So what this was designed to do.
Yeah, that's why like drywall is a thing now, because drywall it'll just like blink right through. But yeah, if you had like a plaster wall or something and you tried to nail something in, if you didn't do it right or if you weren't careful, it would like she said, it would just like like crumple apart. It's a mess.
Is there actually hooks that are made to go around the top of it? Then you could use beautiful string or some sort of cable and then hang the photos.
Smart.
At that time, but paintings from that. Obviously, they have not done that, but that is the original purpose in here.
That's pretty cool.
This was added in the 1930s, so it was not original to the house, but it adds a little kind of interesting flair to it. So.
Yeah, bathrooms, a lot of times, if you have a historic house that has a bathroom, a lot of times it's a converted closet or an addition that was added on later because they didn't really have a whole lot of those things. I just did an excavation recently on an 1800s era, like early 1800s era home in like a downtown city. The vast majority of what we were digging up was actually this massive privy out back. And the privy was kind of like also a trash bin. It was like a giant chute in the ground where it was an outhouse / trash bin, and so like there were just plates and cups and food and all sorts of junk just like tossed down this giant pit because you know, obviously before they had bathrooms they would just kind of have these little outhouse sections that would double as trash bins. But yeah, the vast majority of bathrooms, you know, some of the fancier, richer homes would probably have like a bathroom or something to that effect. Certainly a washroom was not uncommon for places, but yeah, a lot of times bathrooms were added after the fact.
I love, love, love historic bathrooms. When people like tear out a pink one, it makes me nuts. Honeycomb tile.
Me and my wife literally just had a conversation about pink bathrooms because pink tile bathrooms, for some reason, and I guarantee you people have probably seen a pink tile bathroom at some point in your life. They were so popular. They were like such a huge thing. Like, my parents even have pink in one of their bathrooms, pink tile in one of their bathrooms. And I just don't get it. I mean, like, yeah, there was an aesthetic for it, and it was certainly an okay thing for a bathroom, but I would not do I would not do my bathroom like that nowadays, that's for sure.
Usually how people tell the difference between an original honeycomb tile and one that was added later is these are almost always completely flat versus having any kind of tapered edge to them. If they have a tapered edge, generally that is a newer tile.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. That's actually something I didn't know. Again, my wife is the one who knows a lot more about historic houses and all that sort of stuff. So she's going to watch this, she's going to watch this video later when I put it up on YouTube and be like, you didn't talk about this! But yeah, that fact that they kind of flatten out all those tiles, that's really dope. I like that. I think that the reason why they maybe kind of taper it nowadays is it's probably a little bit easier to like repair or replace stuff, and it might help with like pooling moisture and stuff like that. Or like moisture getting down in between the tiles and kind of causing damage. That would be my guess.
I think all of them, even back then, they knew, you can exist without air conditioning, but when you try to go to sleep, that becomes a whole separate issue. So the ceilings in this bedroom, which is the master, are a foot taller than the rest of the house. So they're 11 feet tall in here.
I imagine they're a little bit taller in here because that's also the front of the house up there. And when we were looking at it out front, it had like a bit of a peak to it. It seemed like almost like that dual style. So they probably had a little more wiggle room on the height there. The visuality of tall ceilings versus cleaning them, yeah, I could totally feel that. But that's why they make those big Swiffers on sticks, so you can do a super Swiffer on a stick and get it taken care of.
They wanted to include, again, like the kitchen, craftsman details that would have been in here.
I love that bathroom.
Originally built, but it would have been much more simple.
That's a great sink setup.
Stone, of course, they used marble on the floors, walls, and countertops to make sure it kind of went with the age of the house and actually used traditional materials in order to do that. Because when you own an old house, it's not just going to be your house forever. You're just only a tiny part in its story. So to be able to add traditional elements that then will last the span of time, it makes a huge difference kind of going forward.
That's a great point. So something about historic homes is that when you own a historic home and you want to do renovations or additions or something like that, there are laws, like a series of laws that are put in place specifically to make sure that you are adhering to keeping its historic preservation going. Also, that's just assuming that it's registered as a historic property. If that's the case, you can't do certain things to the exterior of a home specifically, which is why sometimes you'll see really old homes that have additions where they literally, like, one of the walls in the house is like a brick wall with a window in it. And it's because that's how it used to be on the exterior of the house, and then they put the extension on it, and they weren't allowed to change how the exterior wall looked, so they just put the extension onto the house and left it alone. But yeah, so there are very specific rules. So in the cases where the rules don't apply, where the laws don't apply, it's just kind of like a little bit of frou-frou on what you can do. It's great to see when people actually stick to the historic vibe.
I'm Victoria Bartholomew. We'll be heading to the next house after this.
Thanks, Victoria. So next up, we have a Charleston home. So another kind of Southern home. We're going from Virginia to Charleston. $2 million historic Charleston home tour.
I am super stoked about what I've got for you today.
I'm stoked too, man. I mean, I don't see the... Let's get the energy going. Let's get stoked for the house tour.
You know, it's not every day that you get to tour the inside of a 200-plus-year-old house. So that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, he's right about that. Hell yeah, look at that intro.
What is up, guys? It is Bill Olson with Here A Wilder Realty. Now, if this...
Okay, he's got a decent YouTube intro with the what is up, guys. So he does this. He does this frequently. They definitely paid for that intro as well. So I'm excited. Let's see if he has like a very... let's see if he has a very in-depth look at this house.
You might recognize this as Rainbow Row. This is one of the most iconic.
I'm going to pause here specifically so that I can put the Rainbow Road music over this while I do this. Okay, that's it. I'm just going to hard cut to Rainbow Road music. Why are we taking so long to walk? Oh, maybe. Okay.
All right, guys. Short walk. We are here. Right there. 20 Elliott Street.
Two different definitions on the walk, my guy. When it's a YouTube video, you don't need to walk at all. You should just be there.
20 Elliott was built by a wealthy baker in 1801. So the house is just over 200 years old. It's about 2,700 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and it is listed at $1.995 million.
So that price is definitely because of its modernity and the fact that it's in, well, maybe not modernity, size rather. It's because of its size and because it's in downtown Charleston. Like, being in a city is going to jack up the value. If that's an entire all-in-one like townhouse, which it obviously is because it's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom, which is also just a big property, full stop. I mean, that definitely contributes to the price tag. But I'm interested to see whether or not the interior is going to be like really well done, or if it's evident of the old house.
Before it was converted into a full residence for most of its history, it did have commercial space below and residence above. So let's go on in and check it out.
You see that a lot nowadays too, but incredibly popular to have your residence above your business. So if that's the case, if it was a commercial space on the ground floor with residences above, then this was just a street of storefronts. And so people would have like little individual shops, whether they were like vegetable stands or butchers or bakers, or he said it was built by a baker, right? Yeah, he said it was built by a baker. So chances are the ground floor was a bakery. And then he had his residence that he lived in above it, which must have been an insane commute. I love that. I would kill to do my archaeology work at my house. That'd be so nice.
So we are inside the house now. Right when you walk in here on the
That's a nice
floor,
kitchen.
Now, remember, there are 3 floors in this house. Down here, we're in the kitchen. As you can see, it is incredibly updated for a 200-year-old house. The inside is incredibly modern, but it still holds that old charm. Kitchen, we've got high-end appliances, granite countertops to round out the first floor.
Yeah, the only old part of that kitchen I see is the fact that it's a separate room. It looked like it was built, 3 years ago. That's dope. That's so cool. For a house that's in a downtown of a city, being able to get a vibe that gives you kind of like a suburban or a country feel is insane. So obviously that little backyard was, it was barely a yard. It was more like a little court. But having this skylight here that gives you kind of the view into the trees and the sky and everything like that, that's so cool for a property like this to have. I like that a lot.
Nice. It is private. I absolutely love this first
Don't have to mow the lawn.
But I've heard that there's some champagne up on the 2nd floor, so let's go check it out.
You drinking on the job there, Bill? The house is hopping. People all up in it. Oh, it must be like an open house.
Up to the 2nd floor, my favorite floor, because we got some champagne.
He is drinking on the job, man. Bill, get it. Yeah, man. I drink almost every stream, so so I totally get it. Having a nice little sip while you do your job is good stuff.
I'm standing in the master bedroom here on the back of the house. There's also another bedroom up here, and I know I said 3 floors. I meant 4. Let's take a look.
Bill, learn your property, my guy. He could have gone down and just reshot that shot. They're editing it anyway. Dude. That's okay. That's okay. Maybe he wanted to dupe us. Be like, "Oh, you thought you only get 3 floors? Have a 4th on the house." Because the 4th floor is on. It's on the house. Master bedroom. Oh, that bathroom's really nice. All right, I take it back. Yeah, I was gonna be like, oh, this master bedroom, but the master bathroom makes up for it. That's a really nice. That tub is dope. I can see into the future my wife watching this video and being like, wait, How about we move to Charleston?
There's a giant metal door over there that when we open it up has the best view in the entire home. Let's go check it out. All right, guys,
Okay.
if you can see me, it might be a little dark, but
Where is he? What did he go? Is this like a little cabinet? He like crawled into a cabinet. It's got this like metal emergency hatch that he has to. Look at the caution. Look at the caution sign. Like, where is he about to take us? He looks ready to
we got a
go.
big metal door here, which put a little effort into it. We're gonna open this up here, and we are now up on the roof. Here, you can see all the tops of the homes here behind me. I don't know if you can.
I mean, honestly, it's not the word. I was getting ready to rag on it because it's like, okay, well, you're in a city. Like, what kind of view are you gonna get? But it looks like the way that this street is set up, it's got that kind of tree cover in the back, so it's actually not that bad. Roof space is great no matter what. So, guys, yeah, that's the second home. Disappointed by the complete lack of like historic vibe inside. Like, it's very much a modern home. I think he said that. Doesn't even let me skip. Our restoration nation. Well, you can't see it, but apparently this home sold because of this video. So the video, they did the video to show it off because it was for sale, and then they actually sold it because of this video. So I'm curious to see whether or not it was like because of them restoring it, or if somebody bought it to restore. Arkansas.
Welcome, friends, to a very...
Whoa! Look at that house! That place is sick! It's got the freaking tower, the pink brick all over the place with the little lamppost, wraparound porch. Yes, this is like classic old style. Yeah, Victorian mansion. This is dope. I love this. I would totally buy a house like that.
My favorite little detail of this beautiful property is her turret and half onion dome. Turrets are not that unusual in Queen Anne style. It's
The
one of
half
the
onion
defining
is
factors.
pretty unique.
But that onion dome is incredible.
Ooh, we got the Leaning Tower of Spire here. That's a little bit off center. I'd be a little worried, especially because it's leaning towards the house. So like whoever's in this bedroom here, like you may have a little bit of an impalement issue, but we'll see. Maybe it gets fixed. I would be slightly concerned, but we'll see.
One of my favorite things on the exterior of this property are the original brick roads that...
Oh, brick roads. That's pretty cool. I guess that's part of the original approach to the house that they would have had, which that is pretty sick. A lot of these old homes, you can tell there are styles. Like this one's a Queen Anne. They keep talking about a Queen Anne Victorian. There's multiple different types of Victorians, right? And so Queen Anne's are some of the most common, but they are they're very vibrant and very kind of fancy on this sort of stuff. So when you start to learn the different styles, like we saw a Tudor in the first one was a Tudor style or a semi-Tudor bungalow. Then you have the Queen Anne's here. These historic homes start to kind of like get themes going.
So come on in and visit this beautiful Queen Anne beauty with me.
I would love to. Let's take a walk.
Height of Queen Anne quixotic design.
That wallpaper is dog. The first thing I'd do would be like take out this wallpaper. I know it's probably original, but that's like one thing about historic homes that I really don't like. The fact that their wallpaper is just gross every time. But the entry room, as far as that goes, this looks like this might be a grandfather clock right here. We'll see when it continues turning. Fireplace. You could see where I thought clock though. But yeah, no, fireplace with the full mantle and all the tiles and everything. That's actually really cool. Having the fireplace in the entryway, I feel like that's not super common unless the entryway also shares a space with like the living room or the den or something like that. So having a dedicated fireplace for the entryway probably gave like this super warm and inviting vibe, especially like in the winter and stuff.
Of this glorious front door that has its leaded glass in the front door, its doorbell, letter slot.
Yeah, historic doorbell. It's got like an actual. It's not like a button. It's like you had to like a manual doorknob, not a pull chain one or either. But you would turn that and it would like bing bling bing bing do its thing.
Exquisite hardwood mantle. The detail on this is unbelievable.
Yeah, that mantle's
and the
insane.
care that's been put into
Holy
its
cow.
restoration and preservation is top of the line. Griffins carved here.
Sick. Yeah, that
You
mantle's
have
insane. That's beautiful.
These look like possibly cherry
Oh.
blossoms.
I missed him, but he's like, hey, that looks insane. That head, he's going crazy. I thought she was gonna have like wings and stuff, but no, it's like just the head.
All of your original acorn and acorn leaf tiles.
Beauties,
in this
beauties.
incredible front hall.
Yeah, you can see the fireplaces
Now,
had some work
the
done.
fireplaces were
in terms of
originally coal
it was burned.
burning, but the current owners, look at the exquisiteness that is this staircase.
How many times
Again,
has she?
This wood
How many times has she said exquisite?
foliate design mimics the foliate design in the newel post here.
Oh,
These beautiful
Well,
foliate designs.
I don't see it. They did not look mimicky to me. I mean, I would say like, yeah, they both have like leaves, like they both have plants designed.
Now this is my favorite color in the world. I call it bleen. It's not blue, it's not green. It's my favorite color. And the fact that they've used this color for a monochromatic RuneScape,
The bleen must come across more in person. It just looked like an off-white to me. When she was coming in, she's like, oh, this is not blue, not green. I was like, it's neither. It's kind of like white. But maybe I'm just blind.
that are in this
Another
again,
fireplace with an insane
exuberant,
mantle.
exquisite mantle with another original beveled mirror. Almost
The people who own this house would have been loaded. The OG people who own this house would have had so much money. This place is extremely fancy.
you'll see here we have a pocket door leading from the entryway.
Pocket doors, good. Pocket doors were very common.
That's always helping to distract. Not unusual, very easy, not a problem, but we do have.
Oh man, I would have tested the doors. I would have tested the doors before filming. But yeah, no, she's right. Pocket doors will pop off their tracks. I have that with sliding doors nowadays. That happens.
A period gasolier
Ooh.
that was converted to electricity at some point.
Very cool.
I would buy this house for this chandelier alone, especially at the price at which it's being offered.
Okay, that might be a little bit much. I mean, she hasn't even listed the price of the house yet. Let me find out how much it costs before I decide to buy like $1.5 million chandelier.
And again, another set of massive, beautiful pocket doors. Pocket doors are one of my favorite things in the world.
Pocket doors.
This space is huge.
That would make a really good dining room.
Family here for the holidays.
I think she was talking about the library cabinets, whether or not those would have been original. Sometimes you'll see stuff like that in old homes. I don't know if it was original in this home in particular, but a lot of times you will see stuff like that because people will hang up their fancy china or or all of their cutlery and dishes and stuff rather than putting them into like drawers and cabinets and stuff. A lot of times the fancier stuff they would leave out on display because it was decorated. It had designs. It was fancy. So yeah, they put it on display so that when people came in, they sat down, they could see all the cool, neat plates and stuff that the people had.
Again, look at this fireplace. This time,
Why is it plugged in? Did you guys notice that? The fireplace was plugged in? Why is it plugged in? Where is that going? What is it plugged into? Also, yeah, I guess there's a giant center fireplace because they've got this fireplace here. They had one on the other side, like back here, and then there's one in the main foyer. So all three of these fireplaces share the same chimney in the center. It's like a center column chimney, which is dope. And that also would have been really cool because if they were using this, like if they had those fires lit or if they had a fire lit, that would have kind of helped heat the core of the house as it went up, which is pretty cool. That's an interesting, that's a smart design choice.
a gasolier, so it is gas. It's made for gas here and electric here, and that's how it always would have been.
I'm curious whether or not those gas fixtures still work. Like if there's gas in the house that you could hook up to it and you could have it run as like an actual gas burning chandelier, or if it's now like, oh, it's been converted to electricity, that's all you got.
And I want you to know
Another
how
one of those.
tall these doorways are. These doorways and ceilings. What would you say?
Yeah, those
This
are
room
actually
is slightly
huge.
Lower in this room.
I mean, they have those kind of
This is
dividers.
10, so these would be 12. So that means our pocket doors going into the living room and dining room are 10-foot pocket doors.
Yeah, those are huge. Those are very
Be
big doors.
happy. Now this tile work obviously is not original, but I think they've done a pretty good job.
Finally, a
playing
mantle
to
that
the
looks
theme.
like an actual
And that was
mantle.
gorgeous. You can move into this house today and do nothing to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big selling point for it here, that it's a historic house that has all of the historic vibes and all the original historic stuff that is still move-in ready. It doesn't require any kind of restoration at the get-go.
You don't get this a lot in Victorian homes, but I think that this space has been added very sensitively.
2 sinks. The center island stovetop is definitely a much more modern vibe, but I dig it. I mean, you got to do what you can with the space, and sometimes it's easier to have it in the center aisle like that rather than up against maybe some of the more historic features on the walls. You know, it might be dangerous to have the heat near them. That could be the design choice there.
But the overall flow and use of space is absolutely spectacular.
Wait, hold on. I want to know what the hell this thing is back here. Hold on.
I want to give a slight update to
That is like some kind of weird 60s or 70s like Fuchero like oven stove thing.
But the overall
Pizza oven. That's a good guess.
Lidded glass.
Holy cow, look at that stained glass. That's got to be original. That's really nice.
Porch to the backyard. The backyard is landscaped extraordinarily.
Wow.
It is an escape unto itself. And to get out there,
That was sick.
you get to go through this. I find it wonderfully quixotic in this space to have this little space age wood burner in the back of the.
That's what I said, space age. It's like very Fuchero. It's like Jetsons. I get a very big Jetsons vibe off of that. I guess it's just a wood burning stove, so it's probably just for heat or aesthetic. I don't know if it would be an actual like cooking stove. Considering this area is a little bit separate, this is probably be like the informal dining space, like the breakfast dining space or something, or like what the family would use when they didn't have company. Okay.
It also enters from your dining room. So
That hardwood floor looks original. It looks faded enough that it might be original hardwood floor and that they didn't really do too much to it. Keep an eye when I start it up again.
if you want to entertain, if you want to have
Never
large
mind.
parties, large gatherings, so let's go upstairs. Now I know that all of you have
A little cut shot.
been dying to walk up this staircase, so I'm going to do it for you. Can you imagine?
Oh my god, you people want to walk up this staircase, so I'm gonna do it. You can't walk up it unless you come buy this house.
This is a great common space. If you have teenagers that want to have their own space, their own living area, you could have TV, game room, wonderful space up here. So let's go.
I mean, I don't know if I would call that like a teenager's own space. It's literally like through traffic. They would constantly, like if they had their TV set up there, they would constantly be having people walk in front of their Fortnite game. I apologize if you guys are hearing YouTube videos going in the background. That's my kid.
Walk up to your attic.
Very nice. Probably unfinished.
We'll go up there in a minute.
Oh, okay, we're going up. We'll see.
Look at this.
The turret looks tinier from the inside. It looked like a bigger turret outside.
These beautiful windows that overlook this
Yeah, let's see that
glorious
view.
home colonial revival across the street.
Oh, not a bad neighbor.
Front walk and road.
Not a bad view
Love
of the
it.
neighbor,
Love it,
that's
love
for
it, love
sure.
it. And enjoy the view of the backyard.
Yeah, that's a great backyard. We saw it earlier.
Work of art.
I wonder if all of those little...
Another
like
original
quadrants
fireplace.
were part of the same yard if you own all of them.
Stunning original tile work.
Yeah, you can see the wear and tear on the tile there
And
finally.
a master bath.
Corner missing.
Very hard to find.
Ooh, those cracks above the mantle are a little worrying. So when you see big cracks and stuff like that in the plaster, it usually means that the house is settling in a little bit weird. Let's see if we can go back to that main part.
Which is very
There, like this guy right here. This one maybe not so much, but a lot of times, especially if you see it like kind of going out from the seams of doorways or something like that, it usually means that the house is settling in, and so the things are kind of snapping under the change in the house. And when you've got stuff like that, that can be indicative of a little bit of like structural wishy-washiness. But in terms of this house, it's probably okay.
You probably want to update some of the finishes, but look at this
Ooh.
incredible space.
This is the most modern room in the entire house so far, including the space fireplace in the kitchen. Including the Jetsons fireplace in the kitchen. This is like probably the most modern room in the house. A little bit of damage, but not too bad.
The look and feel was very dark in that time.
That's true. And that's also part of the reason why, like, that's partly because of all the shuttered rooms, right? They had all their separate rooms. So as a result, it was hard to get really natural light because all the rooms were shut off from each other. So they didn't share light.
Well, this is a treasure unto itself. Look at this space. One of the nice things we can see
Central
up here
AC.
is the central heat and air unit.
That's huge.
That is obviously quite new and will function beautifully for you in the hot summers in.
Yeah, finding a historic house that has central AC is not really the hardest thing in the world, but it's so necessary. It's so necessary unless you want to like really rough it and have to do those things that we were talking about earlier, like opening the windows to get all the cross breezes and everything. That's like one of the hard parts about finding a historic home.
This may win as the world's biggest attic fan. That's what this is.
Good Lord.
An attic fan, which is a wonderful way here in the South that we use to draw air.
Jesus. It's like a freaking jet turbine. It's like a plane crashed into the attic of this building. Good Lord. What is that doing? I mean, it must get sweltering in that attic if they need a fan that big. Jeez, it looks like a freaking steampunk fixture. I mean, I guess that'll save you some power.
This is some incredible space, and there's definitely...
But maybe not. You might as well just run the AC. That thing probably takes like an entire village's worth of power.
Some fretwork hiding up here.
Oh.
And shutters. All kinds of exciting things.
Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of times in these old houses, you'll go up to the attic and there's just chunks of house lying around. Because the people who like redid parts of the house, they'll just take the old pieces and throw it in the attic, and then they get left there for like 2 or 3 owners because it's like, oh, someone else will restore it and put it back on. That was that center fireplace that we were talking about. One of them, because there's 2 chimneys going through here. I feel like she's like trying to look for something to say, and there's nothing to really say. It's an unfinished attic. Like, what are you going to talk about here? I think they're just kind of touring the space. Bernadette, let's get the price.
1734. She can talk to you about purchasing this
Oh,
house.
you're not Bernadette.
Are you ready? Want to guess? For $179,000.
What? I gotta find out where Helena, Arkansas is. This thing has to be in the middle of nowhere. Helena, Arkansas has to be in the middle of nowhere. There's no way that a house at that price is in any level of society. It's that close to Memphis? It's right on the Mississippi River? Oh no, it probably does take a while to get to Memphis. Well, no, you just cross the 49 and then you take the 61 up to Memphis. And it's $180,000 for that huge place. That's insane. That's bonkers, that price. So here we go, guys. We're going to do our vote right now on which of the 3 houses we think we're going to get. Starting off, we've got the Victoria townhouse, or the Victorian Tudor bungalow. It had some really nice vibes to it. You know, the interior, it had some really cool rooms. Definitely had that old style feel with everything separated by itself. Original cabinetry and everything that was thrown in. It was a really nice property, but I felt like it was a little bit small. I mean, certain parts of it, I wasn't a big fan of. Like, the tall ceilings were really nice, but it was a nice home. I wouldn't mind living there, but I don't know if I'd go out of my way. Next, we've got the Charleston townhome. I mean, the location is bonkers. You're dead center in the middle of Charleston, but ultimately the property itself it didn't have any historic feel to it. It was just a modern townhouse that is just super old. And then finally we had the Queen Anne. The late 1800s Queen Anne, super cheap, big, and definitely had a lot of the old style aesthetics and everything, aside from the super weird space oven in the back there. The winner is the Virginia Tudor home. The Virginia Tudor home has won. Well, guys, that was our historic house tours. I'd love to stick around and look at more properties with you guys, but my son is awake, and I gotta take him out to the store and do all sorts of stuff. But, hey, if you guys liked this, feel free to let me know. This is going to be on YouTube, so you can do it in the comments section, or you can do it on Discord, or anywhere else, really, and let me know. And maybe I'll do, like, a part 2. I'll get my wife, who's, like, crazy into this stuff,